Public Accounts Committee. But don't forget that Public Accounts Committee deals with post-mortem. It is after you have borrowed, you have managed or mismanaged, you have spent, the Auditor General goes into audit and brings me the report. And mine is to come and pronounce that the deceased died of cancer, died of HIV, and the infector is this one, and so on and so forth. And the cycle goes on and on and on. So, we come in after, post-event. Value for money. How many people are certified, valuation experts to take out those audits of value for money? I have told you in the last 1 year, I have not seen a value for money audit coming to my committee. I have told you, I am not trained in that. I can only read around, look around, run around to see if I can make a comprehensive assessment for value for money audits. But what happens if you conduct a value for money audit when the so-called investor has concluded the project and even run away? Because of lack of planning by your leaders, these projects take long to commence, take long to be completed. A project which was supposed to be completed in 2015 has not been completed today. The costs have since become astronomical. The contractor tells you, I want to make contract variations in terms of cost variations. What do you want me to do? When I was supposed to start, a bag of cement went for 25,000. Now it goes for 30,000. What do you want him to do? As a result, for those projects that have been financed by development partners, the development partners cannot commit more funds. Your government is broke, cannot provide counterpart funding, or has to divert money otherwise planned for other things to do counterpart funding. They are borrowing both domestic and foreign or external borrowings, the legal and policy framework, and the execution, together with the limitations. I think this theme was whether debt management whether our debt management system can propel development in developing countries, particularly in Africa. The presentation was on Africa. And why do we have to borrow? First, we borrow because we would not have capital. Secondly, we borrow because of our financial indiscipline. And what are the limitations to development through debt financing? One, our poor negotiation of loans, either influenced by ignorance, others influenced by economic hardships where we find ourselves, and others influenced by corruption, where people simply go to cut deals. And as Honorable Mukitale says, most of the African state houses are conduits, for conmen. People simply use them to negotiate deals. And help the so-called financiers. How we manage our debts is that we do not focus on the efficiency, we focus on how fast we can get this loan. And the intention, for example, in Parliament, if a loan came and it is to do with Karamoja, you will find many of our colleagues from Karamoja telling him, man, don't fight this loan, because it is intended to help our people out of poverty. They did not look at the mechanisms of financing or paying back, because now that is not going to be their burden. It's a burden for the entire country. Some of the people are not even aware we are supposed to pay back. They don't even know about these figures we are talking about. Corruption. You find that we have this thing that has been coined as state capture. There are people who go a middleman for the collection of these loans. They are simply commission agents hiding under the cloak of running governments, but they are businessmen. In other words, the Ugandan Guptas, if you wish. So, for those reasons and many others that are actually vicious, you find that we will not extricate ourselves of this cycle.
How best? Because you seem to suggest that we cannot borrow ourselves out of poverty or the many challenges that face most of the African countries, Uganda being inclusive. What do you then suggest as a sustainable measure to get us out of this
First and foremost, we should have enough and candid discussion about these loans before we acquire them. Look at the terms and be open and transparent. Tell us about the terms upon which you're borrowing this money. We'll be able to advise you to say, look, yes, we should or should not take this loan. Because we should be going for concession as opposed to commercial ones. The people we are getting loans from are commercial dealers. They want money. All they are looking out for is profit. Okay, and two, when we bring this money, we do not plan. We find an entity has borrowed money for 2-3 years. They have not started utilizing the money. Why? Environmental impact assessment. 2, land acquisition. And you ask yourself, why in the first place did you go out to borrow this money? It is basic, it is elementary, common sense. The trouble has been handing over the country to people who failed economics. Okay? Some people studied economics in the 60s, they failed it, they think they can manage economics in the year 2022. Simply forget. The second is that when you're electing leaders, elect leaders who are able to understand these things. Some of these things are elementary, but they will not understand them. They will tell you, reading is business for you people. You the SSEGONAs, you go and read, as we shall vote. You approve a loan that is detrimental. Number 3, I think some people talk about the tax justice system in this country. In Chengera, for example, I have people running business with a capital of, say, 700,000. URA has already knocked and assessed tax for them. In the neighborhood are these so-called foreign investors who are running a multi-billion business or multi-billion businesses and are not taxed. Why? Because they say, those are foreign investors. They enjoy some tax incentives for the next, say, 10 years. And when it's about to clock 10 years, in the 9th year, this same investor goes and registers a company and applies for tax investment incentives. Then he transforms from this company to the next company and starts enjoying a new tax regime of incentives. Okay? We get investors, fake investors. We give them land, we give guarantees to international banks. They come here, declare losses for the entire duration of the business or the company, walk away, we're siphoning all the money, and in the end, we pay. Okay, and the government does not want to declare these as loans. Yet they are. I mean, this is borrowing because you're sure that somebody you have given money to go and invest in apparel TriStar in Ngololo is going to fail in that business. And if you guaranteed the loan, you're going to pay. You are sure that the person you guaranteed in Lubowa, in this defunct, okay, Lubowa hospital investment, is bound to fail because this is a person who has never administered the drug administration, not even a Panadol. And you say this one will build for us a super specialized hospital in Lubowa. Okay? You saw the other time when your grandfather was telling us. No, don't insult me. That's yours. Was saying, Madame Vinci knew absolutely nothing about coffee. I'm the one who told him. And he said, now who is the investor? Is it Vinci the woman or Vinci the old man? Okay? So those kinds of investments, the under-declaration of our debt portfolio, the lack of transparency with which we manage our debt portfolio, the corruption that has engulfed our country, where you bring in, you have, in Uganda you have about 1,000 Chinese representing one Uganda, and that Ugandan is connected to State House.
Okay,